Unless you are marketing your business as a hobby, like you're doing it on the side, social media can seem like an absolute slog. If you're tired of the old cookie cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. Focusing on one social media platform. Now, I'm sure you may have heard of this from other podcasts, YouTubers, or other platforms out there that you consume as well as us. I would like to thank you for listening to our podcast today, or watching us if you're watching us on Spotify or on YouTube. I'm going to compile myself a bit here. When it comes to social media, very much when it first launched, I was in school and it very much took over because it was this new, interesting, engaging thing and had progressively gotten more ubiquitous over time. Now, social media has gotten to the point where people are stepping away from it, are instinctively not spending their time there. And of course, these big behemoths of companies, these social media platforms, are panicking and doing their best to try and keep people on the platform so they can advertise more. They're going to do their best to try and keep everyone on. And when it comes to your work as a business owner, unless marketing your business is a hobby for you, it can feel like a slog. So using social media to promote your business. And that is the goal when it comes to the work that you're doing while you're on social media in the first place. Yes, there is the connection that you get from interacting with fans or with potential customers. There is the opportunities as a business to advertise and reach those potentially new clients, or maybe people who have heard of you, or even people who you've worked with in the past or who have purchased from you in the past. They can be reminded of your existence and go, oh, yeah, I really liked, what I bought from them, my services from them. Oh, I should hire them again. All right, I'll look into it. That prompt, that acknowledgement. But when it comes to using these social media platforms to organically reach people, that has become less and less achievable over time, just because of the amount of stuff that is on these platforms, because it is what a lot of people see, especially who are starting out in business, as a free marketing tool. And that's because it is. Like, you're not giving up any money up front. You're not paying for a billboard. You're not paying for leaflets. You're not paying to acquire email subscribers just yet. It's a fairly easy, straightforward. You could set up a page from your account or set up a profile, usually within 5 minutes. They make the process relatively straightforward. But as I mentioned before, unless you are marketing your business as a hobby, like you're doing it on the side, social media can seem like an absolute slog. And I was talking to a fellow business owner, a new business owner this week, who launched a couple of months ago. And she saw that I did digital marketing, the podcasting and the live streaming, and we had a chat about social media and just how over it she already is, despite the fact that she launched her business a couple of months ago. And she divulged to me that she was kind of already on the way out when it came to social media in general. And I don't want to bring you on a downer. If you are working on social media and it is working for you, like you have processes in place, you have the way of thinking about it, you have a consistent posting schedule, like you've got all these things in place, probably from years of trial and error, congratulations. If it's working for you, awesome, great, keep up the good work. But if you are starting new, it can be very much a Sisyphean task of pushing that boulder up a hill. Please let it be Sisyphus. Pushing that boulder up a hill just to have it roll back down again and you to just brush yourself off and do it again. It can feel very much like a hard slog. And as I was talking with her, it was becoming very clear that she had signed up to all the social media platforms that she could think of and then didn't really have any way of managing them and also being consistent with them. So after our chat, my objective question to her was, why do you need all of these social media platforms? Oh, because all the competitors are on them. But why do you need to be on all these platforms? Because people are looking for all of my stuff on all of these platforms. Sure, like I'm not denying any of these responses to my questions, but I'm asking for you, in all of the work that you're doing, the amount of time and energy and money that you're putting into getting posts created and generated and putting into these feeds for these social media giants, just to have them be gobbled up and be seen by like 3, 4, 5 people. And looking at her stuff, it wasn't a case that the content was bad. She was learning really fast on ways to incorporate video to really stand out in her particular niche that she was doing. And she is doing, and the thing that she focuses on. She had a really clear idea of her customer market. She had a really clear idea of like who these people were and why they were there. And I said, marketing is not a one and done thing. Marketing is something that takes a hell of a lot of time, and there's a reason that it's a section of your business. Like, there are many facets to what you do in your business. Marketing, getting people into your funnel, into your business to be aware of what you do and purchase from you and trust you enough to purchase from you, I should say. That is a section of your business. That is a part of your business. These platforms are going to do their best to accumulate as much data as they can. And with the work and effort that you're putting into it, I ask, what is the social media doing for you? And I ask you, as the listener or watcher of this podcast, what is your social media doing for you? And then subsequently, what is the priority for you when it comes to social media? And what I mean by priority is not just, what platform or what type of content are you doing or what are you talking about? No, I'm not talking about the minutiae of that. I'm talking about, when it comes to social media and your priority for it, where does it sit? And my recommendation for every single business out there, no matter what you do, no matter how much lead traction or maybe even money that you get from people signing up via social media platforms, your website should be your top priority. Your website is the platform that you can control, and everything feeds into it. Everything that is your platform, that is your consistency, that enables you to say and do whatever whatever your business is about. And there's very little repercussions because it is your website. My second recommendation, for not every business, but most businesses, especially the ones that I work with, who are coaches, personal brand, speakers, and essentially a lot of people who have a mission for what they do. That's who I work with. My second recommendation is very closely underneath that is your email list, is email marketing, because you own that list. You are constantly engaging with these people on a weekly, fortnightly, maybe monthly basis. And these are people who have genuinely shown interest in the work that you do to the point where they give you their email address. Like, they've already said, I like what you do. Here is my email address. Give me all the details and information about you. And then, maybe then, your social media should come third. Because again, as I've mentioned in other previous podcasts, feel free to listen to those or check out on the website vcc.training/podcast. You can find out more just by searching regarding social media. When it comes to that, social media is rented land. These platforms are designed to hold attention and make money. That is their prerogative. And as the small business owner trying your best to be seen by the people who are going to like you, trust you, know you, and then eventually buy from you, to be seen on these platforms is very crucial. I understand. That's why I don't completely disheart people or completely dissuade people from getting off social media altogether. But when it comes to social media, spreading yourself too thin is a recipe for disaster. That goes for all aspects of your business, not just social media. And if you know so much, or you have worked so hard on acquiring the people that you want in your business, who love you, who rave about you, who give you word of mouth, which is honestly a lot more, a lot more lucrative for your business than just social media posts alone. Your social media should be a fairly low priority because it is to bring awareness to your brand, awareness to your business. That is all it's doing. And yes, you can, for example, the pros of social media are as follows: that there are people still on them, and there are a lot of people spending a lot of time on them. People are if you want to be seen, you got to pay to play. You can use their AI, because they're very much pushing that, because of course they're tech businesses. They're going to push AI generated ads. Most people on these platforms are more likely to watch and lurk than interact, because interacting means that they're going to get more of it. And depending on the work that you do or the services or products you provide, some people will just be like, oh, I'm looking for something kind of in this realm right now. Oh, I will like this post, and then the algorithm will feed me more of this type of stuff. And with the rise of what I like to call soloed social media platforms, and realistically, feel free to check out my previous podcast about my 2030 predictions when it comes to digital marketing, to learn more about that. With the rise of groups, so Facebook groups, Reddit, these types of platforms that are specific niche groups that people are electing to follow, to agree to all the rules and engage with other like-minded people who are interested in the stuff that they're doing. And again, that's not saying that ads will not find a place here. They've definitely found a place, and they will be constantly integrated. But that will definitely change the way that you use social media, because there is a tactic, to be perfectly honest right now, is people create a post in Canva, post it up once a week, and then that's it. And unfortunately, when it comes to being seen on social media, that is not a strategy. Being seen on social media requires you as the brand to engage, not just with the people who engage with your post, but like, for example, if they comment, you reply back. If someone likes something, you engage with those people. It's not just that. You need to go into groups and answer people's questions. This takes time and energy. You need to make sure that you are keeping an eye on your competitors on these platforms. What are they doing? What can you do differently? Not the same. What can you do differently that'll help you stand out from them? Because if people are finding your competitors, that means that they are in that realm of looking for someone like you. So, now, of course, for those who may know me, I don't exactly call competitors. I usually call them collaborators or potential collaborators, depending on the work that you do. But when explaining concepts to people, it's better just to use the words that people are more familiar with. And if someone is looking for something, most of the time if they're on a social media platform, they're going to look for what they need. Your competitors are going to show up, and you should be there too. So, in regards to everything that I've discussed so far in today's podcast, when it comes to social media, and I'm going to reiterate it again, it is an awareness tool. It is the thing that is the easiest, quickest thing that you can do, that is at the top of your marketing funnel. And a marketing funnel, for those who may be unaware, is essentially picture an upside down triangle with the point down the bottom and the wider part up the top. The top part is the easiest awareness stage, and then they slowly go through the stages. This is a potential customer, by the way. They slowly go through the stages of being aware of your brand, maybe seeing a couple of posts of yours, maybe hearing you on a podcast, or maybe coming across your website in a recommendation feed, whatever it is. And they slowly move down these different stages. Now, of course, every business is different, But most of the time, these stages are building the knowing factor, the liking factor, and the trusting factor to the point where they go on your website. And then that's pretty much a whole entire other funnel. But to get people onto your website, so then you can track who they are, depending, of course, there is a lot of data issues at the moment, so tracking might be slightly an issue. But to get people to your website, where again, you have full control, and then from there, getting them to buy from you. And out of everything that I've just described, that entire process, social media is one tiny little blip of the top, of the tippy top. So as I was, talking with this woman, and we discussed it's clearly causing you stress. It's clearly causing you overwhelm. And if you know your customer so well, and I say this with all sincerity, why do you need to be on those other platforms? What is the platform that they are going to be the most active on? Therefore, you should be active on there too. For example, the people that I work with, I put a lot more of my effort into my LinkedIn presence. Why? Because when people are looking for marketing and branding of the caliber and scale of the people that I work with, LinkedIn is the place that they go. They, lurk. For example, LinkedIn is notorious for people who lurk in the background, people who just look at posts. They watch them all the way through. They watch your videos all the way through, but they don't they don't, whatever those other emojis are. They don't comment, they don't share, they don't tag, they don't do any of that, but they are definitely engaged in what you do. And when you see them out and about in email lists, on other podcasts, again, wherever you come across them again, they will remember and recognize you. Because again, they have lurked in the background. So for example, with the work and the clientele that I work with, LinkedIn is my priority. LinkedIn is the work that I do. So that entails everything else that I do regarding social media. I build everything for LinkedIn, and then everything else follows. I use tools to schedule my social media so I don't have to do a lot of the legwork. And again, I build my platform, I build my content, I build my descriptions, I build my wording for a LinkedIn audience. I am moving into all of their additional features like newsletters and articles and all of these other things where previously I wasn't really engaging with before, but because I'm getting actual leads, hot leads and tractionable leads from LinkedIn, that's where my focus is going to be. I still have other platforms, which may seem quite hypocritical coming from me for this podcast episode, but because I'm not starting out, I have been in business in my life for 15 years so far, and I've been running this business for about 8 years. I'm at a point where it's not overwhelming and stressing me to have other social media platforms, but I still use my strategies to focus on LinkedIn first and then everything else following. And for her, we broke down and we had a bit more of a discussion about who her type of target market is, where she gets the most traction, where she gets the most bang for her buck, and where she should put her focus in. Not necessarily that she needs to delete these other platforms, not that she needs to get rid of these other social media platforms. I do not want to stress, do not delete these other platforms because you need to secure the name that you have for your brand. But point people to your website, point people to your platform, and in her case, Instagram was the best place for her. Point people to your Instagram. You'll have no idea how many TikToks I've come across that point people directly to their Instagram and say, hey, if you want to watch more of me, follow me on Instagram. If you want to engage more with my content, follow me on Instagram. There are so many people that I follow on YouTube who, again, point people to their Instagram as a way of collecting their followers and keeping them engaged. Now, if you've got that follow intact, I would definitely recommend pushing people more towards your website if you've got that follow account. But some people, when they go onto a website, there is an element of risk and I don't exactly know what I'm going to get. And if there's no way to keep in contact with you very easily and seamlessly, especially when they go to the front page of your website, so for example, joining an email list, they're not really going to do it. And again, having that option for people who want to be aware of you and can see you, using a social media platform, especially one that you're investing your time in, is a good idea and a good straightforward plan going forward. Again, to limit the amount of work that you have to do when it comes to marketing your brand. So, breaking it down when it comes to finding out. And I want to stress, when figuring out that one social media platform, do not just go with the one that you have the most followers on. Because it could be the case that maybe your Facebook has the most, followers or likes, for example. But that is the platform you've been on the longest, and it is getting like very little traction now. So what do you do? Well, first of all, you think about who exactly you're wanting to target, and actually think about, where are they found? Where are they interacting? Where are they communicating? Where are you going to find these ravenous fans, people who are going to love what you do and then give you so much word of mouth? Where are these people located? So then from there, when it comes to social medias, then being able to go, okay, and then look at your analytics. So your insights, you can find these in the settings page, usually on any of the social media platforms that you're looking at. And look over the past month, look over the past couple of months, and see what has been the most popular type of content. But also just regularly see how many people actually engage with what you do. Not necessarily see what you do, but actually comment, actually post. Oh yeah, the last thing I forgot to mention was that what platform has actually generated you leads? And if this does not apply to you, that's okay. You're working through it. What platform has actually given you leads? When you've worked or when people have purchased from you, what have you, make sure that you have at the checkout stage a simple questionnaire, less than 2 seconds, of where did you find us? Here is our, top 5 places where you would find us. Click, done, submit. And you will have that data to be able to use to be able to understand whether or not the work that you're doing is worth it. And say, for example, if it gets to say, you decide, okay, I'm going to focus on LinkedIn because that's where my people are and that's the work that I'm going to do. I'm going to invest my time with putting LinkedIn first. And if I've got the time and energy to post on other platforms, I will, but I will link everyone to my LinkedIn. That's what I'm going to do. So you do that for 6 months. You're going to see what happens. You're going to make sure that you're actively commenting and engaging. You're responding to posts or comments or groups that are related to what you do. You're actively engaging on the platform. And then you're going to see results. I guarantee, you're putting in that effort and energy that you were spreading across 5, 10 different platforms. You're now centering in on one, and you've given yourself a really clear metric in the sense of, I want to give myself 6 months. And if I do not get at least 2 leads, at least one that I can convert, then I'm going to reevaluate, get to that point, and then say, for example, okay, it's been 6 months. I've gotten maybe 4 leads, but none of them have been hot. Okay, let's look at the analytics. Okay, the analytics for the amount of work and time and effort that I'm putting into this platform is not really giving me the return that I need. I've also, 6 months in a business can also change quite a lot. All right, let me reevaluate. And then from there, if you want to move to one of your other platforms as your focus, then do it. Again, make sure that you let people know, hey, LinkedIn people, hey, we're going to be doing a lot more posts on Instagram. If you want to keep up to date, make sure to follow us on Instagram, follow But again, the amount of effort that you're putting across many will be more beneficial if you focus on one. And one thing that I do want to stress before we finish today's podcast episode is, keep this in mind when you work on the marketing for your social media platform. You do not owe loyalty to a social media platform. You do not owe loyalty to any one social media platform. You can post the same piece of content across every platform. And that is where your focus should be. Because if something is not working for you, you pivot, you change. And when it comes to social media, as I mentioned before, envisioning that funnel, visualizing it in your mind, the tippy top, the little point down the bottom, and the wide part at the top, social media is a tiny little blip at the very top of that funnel. It is good to be present. It is good to engage with your community. It is good to answer questions on social media and post, I would say, minimum once a week. Because, and I'm going to say this now, for a lot of businesses that I work with, the social media is used ultimately as proof that you're still in business, that you're still working. People check your Google and Bing listings to check out your open hours, but also, and this is not just for, I want to stress, not just for actual brick and mortar stores. I want to stress this is for all businesses. People want to check that you're still in business and you're still doing your thing. And that's what social media does. It's a clarification and check that you're in business, but also gives people an insight into the work that you do to if they should continue researching anymore. Their studies have shown that people research decisions more. And if you, for example, get a recommendation from word of mouth, you say, yes, awesome. What is one of the first 3 things that you do? Besides searching them up online. 2, maybe looking at the reviews. Now, these can be reviews on, say, Google reviews, Facebook reviews, any of those particular platforms that have specific review recommendations on board, depending on the industry, of course. And 3rd is you check out their social medias. Of course, on your preferred platform of choice. And a lot of people, and this is anecdotal now, not study-wise, is people check when was the last time you posted. And say, for example, when it comes to my business, I am not exactly an arbiter when it comes to posting consistently. I do try my best, but sometimes there's like months where I'm just like, social media is not a priority for me. I'm going to focus on my website. I'm going to focus on my email list. Social media, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's okay. But when it comes to yourself and you've got the capacity, especially if you're focusing on one platform, to have that consistency for yourself, to have the same post, same message, same description across all your platforms to spread awareness. And bonus points, if you can do it using a social media scheduling tool, you got your buffers, your laters, your metricals, your Hootsuite, all of these other places where you can just, again, post the same thing across multiple platforms. Not necessarily to get hot leads, just to show people that you are still in business. And for the people that I predominantly focus on, these are your personal brand builders, your coaches, your speakers, your marketers, your women and non-binary folk in fintech is kind of a little bit in the area that I'm in now, but I'm also happy to pivot. These people just need to be aware that you're still doing what you're doing, that you still show up online. And to do that, you need to be able to focus. So I hope in today's podcast, I've been able to assuage your fears in not having to be everywhere at once, putting your focus on one platform. And if you've got the capacity to post on other platforms, awesome, do it. If you don't, again, just funnel people to your website, funnel people to the platform that you are going to be spending the most time on. And if you have no qualms, if you have no energy for social media, then set yourself a bare effing minimum. What is your bare minimum? So for example, my BFM when it comes to social media is that, and this is not client work, I want to stress if you're a client of mine, this is not for you, this is for my social media. I spend 30 minutes a week on my social media. That is my minimum. And that 30 minutes can be spent, LinkedIn, commenting, engaging, checking out other people's work, checking out, whatever I need to do. But that's my minimum. I could do more, awesome. But I can also just do my 30 minutes. And making sure that I engage with people who are going to be fans of mine or people who are already fans of mine. Making sure that I engage with them and show them support. Especially people who are going to give great word of mouth referrals. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.